how are you enjoying your day? I hope you're done with all your home fun and set to learn with us today. My name is Seydan Emanuela Guaza.
I am Tamara Lasagna, and this is Our World, a TV show for children and family, with a distinct touch on creativity and values. We are friends from Einstein International Grade School.
We're delighted to have you join us on the show today. Our focus will be on developing good reading habits, and we'll consider a shining example on the A Day with segment.
You will also enjoy Smart Kids segments, State in Focus, and an interesting Vox Pop. Trust us for a round package of information and entertainment. Stay with us.
It's great being with children in our world. Watch our world on this channel every Wednesday, every week.
Care to share some of your reading moments with us? Let's hear from some friends. The title of the book that I read is Corilla Learned a New Skill. I learned from the book that it's not every time if your friend learns something that she's good at, like gymnastics. You don't have to be good at gymnastics. Maybe you might be good at something else, like reading and other things.
I read about Queen Esther, and I learned bravery in it. I want to be brave when I become older. When I read about Noah, I learned that you should always obey God's way. You should always be kind. You should never fight. You should never hurt anybody. The name of the story I read is The Lion and the Mouse. What it taught me is that no matter if you're big or small, you should still believe in yourself. I learned about a story called The Mean Boy. So it's like he's mean to everyone he sees until he learns his lesson. So I learned about the story I should not be mean to others.
Welcome back. Experts say reading is an essential skill and has countless benefits for a child's development and future success.
To encourage little readers to nurture the habit of reading, here are some tips that you can try.
The more you read, the more you will learn, and the more you learn, the more places you go. Hello friends, my name is Obichukwu and I'm here to give you some tips on how to be a better reader. Number 1, you need to have friends. Have a community of friends where you read together. You could bring some books. You can decide to read whatever books you like to read. You and your friends can come together, form a club, a reading club where you read and then you discuss about the books. Talk about the characters, what you feel the characters should have been like, how you think the story should have ended, or if it ended the way you like. These are some things you can do with your friends. It's quite interesting doing that with your friends, right? Okay, 2, you can go to the library. You can visit a very good library, a local library around you. You know, in a library you have different sections of books for children, for adults. You can go there, select from it. Once you read the back of the book, it tells you what the story is about and you know what you're interested in. And then you pick up what you like and then you read from it. 3, think about topics that you love. If you love dancing, if you love cooking, if you love drama, you can look for books around these topics and then you read them to get more information about that topic you are interested in. Now you have some tips on how to be a better reader. I hope you explore some of these tips and enjoy it with your friends. Thank you.
The show
continues with a day with the CEO of the National Library of Nigeria. She has a lot to say about our topic. Come with us. Called the Giant of Africa, and with 3 years into its 7th decade as an independent entity, Nigeria has an interesting story to tell, one of which is the establishment of the National Library of Nigeria in 1964. Libraries are the hub of national development. They play critical roles in the growth of a nation. The services they render are beneficial to everyone. Today, we have the rare privilege to spend a day with National Librarian Professor Chinwe Veronica ANUNOBI. So whether you want to know all about the National Library or increase your enthusiasm for reading and writing, our guest is all set to provide answers to all our questions. Join us after this short break. Welcome back. Thank you, Prof. Ma'am, for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about yourself growing up. Did you know when you grew up, you'd be a professor?
As you have said, my name is Professor Chinwe Veronica ANUNOBI. I wasn't born a professor. Rather, I walked towards being a professor, and today I'm a professor. I started just like you, but I wasn't as privileged as you are. There is nothing that will be a barrier. The only barrier you have that will stop you from being a professor, and even beyond being a professor, being a president, is you, the you in you.
Ma'am, why was the National Library established? In what ways is it a living agency of progress, intellectual enrichment, and public enlightenment?
National Library is only 4 years younger than Nigeria. You know, Nigeria was born in 1960. That was when we had independence, yeah. And then the National Library was established in 1964. That is to tell you the place of knowledge, education the country has in mind when it was establishing the National Library, because it was geared towards, focused towards supporting all-round education in the country, from the basics to the tertiary. And since that 1964, we are going to be 60 years next year. The National Library has been living up to the mandate. That is, being a giant memory, and also encouraging reading, and also making sure that all books, journals, and everything produced in Nigeria has an identifier, that is the International Standard Book Number. It's living up to that expectation, supporting reading, supporting education in very many dimensions.
How many libraries do we have in Nigeria?
All right. The first question is, how many tertiary institutions, that is universities, how many colleges of education, how many polytechnics, and then how many secondary schools and primary schools? And then you will now say, these from the tertiary, that's from the university down to the primary school, do they have libraries? Ideally, before any university is established, there must be a library. And we have 170 universities in Nigeria now. So we have 170 university libraries. It's one set. And we have 159 polytechnics in Nigeria. So before you establish any polytechnic, there must be a library. So we have 159 polytechnic libraries in Nigeria, and we have 152 colleges of education in Nigeria. That means because before you establish a college of education, there must be a library, because the library must be there for research, for teaching and learning. And then we have 104 federal secondary schools. Each federal secondary school, because it is managed and supervised by the ministry, they have library. So you have 104 federal secondary school library. Every federal secondary school we have looked at it, they have library. But then we have 17,453 private secondary schools. Some of these private secondary schools, they have library, because when government wants to approve for them, government will insist that it is part of a requirement that they must have library. But the question is, are they continuing to maintain this library? And then for other secondary schools that are being owned by state governments, majority of them do not have library. That is why we cannot put it together, because if you put together the number of schools and say, that's the number of libraries we have, we will get it wrong.
Tell us, Ma, what are your duties as a national librarian?
I'm answerable to the Minister of Education. And the Minister of Education will now take my answer to the President about anything that has to do with the heritage of this country. That is, all resources that are produced in this country. How are we managing them? How are we keeping them? About something that has to do with international standards, the books that are published, the journals are published, music that are published, are they of standards? About people who are publishing, are we helping them to get them published? About people who are reading, are we encouraging people to read? And then, what about those resources that are brought into this country, into the National Library? Are we processing them to let people have access to them? And I manage staff. I manage the staff. I manage the money given to me by government. And I manage other resources that is being provided in the National Library. And I report them back, because there's no way the President will know how I'm going, what I'm doing here. It is when I report to the Minister of Education. Are you getting me? And the Minister of Education will now report back to the President.
How is the National Library embracing the advancement of technological innovation?
The National Library is embracing technology, because we know that the approach to information packaging, that's the way information are gathered, the way the information are used, and the way the information are searched for have changed. So what we are doing now is that we have embraced technology. It is part of the thing I said I must do when I joined the National Library. I say no, because anything that is put on the internet is put there by somebody. So we have to put the heritage of this country. So we started, one way is that we are digitizing, especially the pre-colonial, those things that were given to us, that was back in the National Library before independence. We are digitizing them. And not only digitizing them, we do not want to put them, just scatter them on the internet. What we are doing, we are digitizing them and putting them in a database, which we call the repository. So when you go there, you click, you find it. And also, we are also, instead of doing all these things, writing, when we want to do something, we write hand. Everything we are doing now in the National Library is automated. That is, instead of doing it manually, we are using computers to do them. So that it will be easy not only for us, easy also for those who are going to use the resources of the Nigeria, and also preserve what we have for future generations to use.
What are the parameters before an intellectual work is accepted by the National Library?
Any material that is published in this country must be standardized. We work with International Center in Paris, France. There are the people that will say, these are the qualities a journal, you know what a journal is, that we report and they publish research output. These are the characteristics a journal will have, and when that journal has that characteristics, we will give it what is called International Standard Serial Number. The International Standard Serial Number, that is what will make that journal, when you present it in UK, when you present it in US, when you present it in Germany, in Japan, people will say, okay, it is in line with the standard required, the global standard required. So the National Library is providing, making sure that the standard, they meet the standard, then we assign the number. The same thing with books. The same thing with music. And then other documents, newsletter, magazines, newspaper you see, we have given them numbers. If they don't give the number, when they take it to international community, the international community will not want to use it. Like in the university, if there is a book that is published without international standard book number, when a researcher is using that book, the supervisor will say, this book, it doesn't meet the standard or international standard. You cannot use it to carry out effective research that will be accepted globally. So that is the way we are doing it, to help people standardize what they bring into the national life. And if you don't have that standard, when you bring to us to keep for posterity, for the people that will be born in the next 100 years, we will not accept it.
Do you have anything coming out in the pipeline?
Of course, as Nigeria is a growing organism, the library and of course the National Library is a more growing organism than the country, because all our mandate is being transformed, and we must follow the trend, which is technology. So everything we're going to have on the pipeline should follow the mindset of the people we are serving. Everything we have on the pipeline is to support the development of the country.
What are the challenges facing the National Library of Nigeria?
I've been a very big organization, a very big parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Education, and with a very big mandate. One is that you can see that we are still staying after 59 years. We are still tenants. This place is not a permanent building for the National Library. The country is still building the National Library, so accommodation is a problem. And even going down to the states, because we are supposed to have National Library branch in all the states of the Federation. Many of our branches are still staying in or being housed in a temporary accommodation, because we have so many branches to address. We do not have finance to accommodate them, and also the staff.
In Indonesia, research shows that authors are encouraged to write school textbooks in their indigenous languages. What's your take on that?
See, in Nigeria, when somebody cannot read and write in English, they say the person is illiterate. But it's not true. In advanced countries, that's why the Chinese people, they speak their language. Do you know they speak their language? And you see how they write. That thing they write is their alphabet. That thing you don't understand. When you see a Chinese, something made in China, they will write it in their cubes. It's their language. So, many advanced countries, even the white man, UK, they use English. Japan, they use their own language. Germany, they use their own language. And UNESCO, you know UNESCO, you are familiar with UNESCO. They have seen that countries that are not using their indigenous language are feeling cheated, and they can't develop fast. And they said, every nation under UNESCO must begin to propagate, advance their indigenous language. And they set aside 2022, that is last year, and 2032, what is called a decade. You know, a decade is 10 years. They set it aside that every nation must try to begin to teach people in their indigenous. That is why the Minister of Education said, primary schools, you'll be taught in your own indigenous language. So we are encouraging people to begin to read and write. And do you know there are some languages in Nigeria? We have about 600 languages in Nigeria, indigenous language. Many of them, you cannot write their alphabets. They do not have alphabets. And people who know how to speak them are dying off. So that is what UNESCO is looking at and saying, okay, every country should see a way of encouraging that indigenous language. We take another step next year to encourage the publishers to begin to publish in indigenous language.
Ma'am, so many young people desire to stay focused in life's pursuits. What is the secret to staying focused?
The secret of staying focused is, first, I must tell you, obey your parents. There is no way your parents will deceive you. And secondly is to listen to your teachers. Taking your studies seriously. Whatever things, even activities that is outside the school, activities the teachers will ask you to do. Follow it, do it. It will help you. And the read, I have seen children who excel very well are children who read. They read everything instead of watching video. You can only be focused by beginning now to be focused in life.
Finally, ma'am, what would you like to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for helping people to be what they should be. Like your mother flogs you. He's flogging you so that he will make you a good person. So wherever I find myself, I will see you, I will see a lot of potentials in you, but you wouldn't like it. Like your teachers would have seen that you are a good speaker, you can go places, you can be the president of this country, you can be a minister, you can go places, you can be a world leader, and they're telling you that this woman, this teacher, I hate that teacher. Every time you will put in mathematics on the board. My passion is that I will coerce you. I don't believe in pampering children. I don't believe in pampering adults, because if your mother pampers you, if your father pampers you, if your teacher pampers you, you will not be the person you will be. I want to be remembered that I've helped to make people to be what God has destined that they should be, spiritually, physically, mentally. That is what I want to be remembered for.
Thank you, ma'am, for having us. We are better informed about the functions of the National Library of Nigeria. We pray for God's wisdom upon you as you continue to make tremendous impact here.
Thank you.
You would agree with me that our guest is really brilliant and beautiful. Good info you have there. Stay tuned. It's our world.
This is wonderful.
That was enlightening. Many thanks for your time, ma'am.
What do you know about Nigeria? State in Focus is next.
This is State in Focus. My name is Ariana Akongwale, and today we'll be looking at a place in Lagos called Badagry. Badagry is a coastal town by the lagoon. It was established in the 15th century. It is said to have been named after its founder, Adabe, a well-known farmer. Badagry is a few kilometers from Seme, a border town to the Republic of Benin. Officially generates the highest Nigerian custom duties income till date. The first school, St. Thomas Primary School, was established in 1845. It is the second largest town in Lagos State, with a population over 200,000 people according to the 2006 census. The first story building in Nigeria is located in Badagry. It attracts many visitors every year. The foundation of the building was constructed in 1842 while the house was completed in 1845. History also has it that it was a place where returning slaves lodged. Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther, a returning slave, lived in one of the rooms of the building where he translated the English Bible to Yoruba version. It is the most popular mission house in Badagry. Badagry is a very beautiful place to visit. Thanks for watching. I am Ariana Akongwale. swallow. Stay tuned.
My name is Namori Ejenioya, General Manager, Network Operations, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Watch Our World every Wednesday on this station at 5 p.m.
It's quiz time on Our World. My name is Camila Lawal. Last week we asked,
What is the full meaning of TAD, TAD?
the correct answer is Tosin Abimbola Dokpesi Tad. First correct answer came from Maimuna Selisi, who lives in Metama, Abuja. Congratulations, the producer will get in touch with you. This week, who was guest on a day with?
You already know the drill. Text your answer stating your full name, age, and location to the producer award on 081-879-55548. The time starts now. Good luck.
The program continues after the break. I am Camila Lawal. That's all we have on this edition. Many thanks for your time. We hope you are inspired.
Join us next time for another new and interesting time out on Our World.
My name is Tamara Lasanya. See you soon.
Satan Emanuela Guaza saying goodbye and stay safe. We love you.